Okay, blessings everyone. This is Yanni, beauty lockologist. So I'm doing this video with two different types of heads. Okay, you're going to see this head first, and then you're going to see the second head with these two sisters that has two separate texture here. So this is not about texture. We'll do textures in a different time. I may use her again in the future, but this is about what you're trying to achieve when you have locks and the things to avoid. So you guys always hear me say leave it alone, right? And you guys would not see these two ladies here. First, they have beautiful hair in their own way, but you would not see their hair being done after, like I usually do post it. You're not going to see that because that's not what the emphasis is on. So people are afraid of new growth. You all know I'm Trinidadian. Hey, Trini to the bone. But anyway, look, you guys know I grew up Rasta in Rastafarian communities and all of that. And we are accustomed to when we open here, we don't see scalp. This is what we look for, right? So I'm going to do a contrast and you're going to see the other sister. Now the thing with the other sister is, and we were talking about it during her consultation, and her hair was done too often and too tight, all right? This sister on the other hand was a little more, were you more low maintenance?
Only for the last couple of years.
So for the last 2 years you didn't touch your hair?
Right.
Okay, so this is what a scalp with not being done for at least 2 years looks like. Notice I hardly see scalp. For me to see the scalp, I have to open it up. You can lean back a little bit and get in there. Right, you guys seeing that? Right, I have to open it up and get in there. All right, so I'm saying this to say, when it comes to your locks, without new growth, what happens with your locks as your locks grows, because either you're doing it yourself or you went to somebody that's doing it to you. Again, people still on technique. Oh, good Lord. People still on technique. If your locks are done too often and too tight, around each one of these locks, they will start to get thinner and thinner as they grow. And they're going to fall out eventually, or your locks are going to be far apart from each other. That's because you have snatched out all your new growth. And this, and her hair is very long, as you can see. Guys, figure that out. Very thick and disrespectful the way I like it. She laughing. This is not what you're going to see. When you have a lock journey, this is what you're aiming for. You want to make sure whoever does your hair, when it's time for them to do your hair, they have a lot of hair to work with versus it's being snatched up. Okay? So stay tuned. I'm going to have 2 or 3 more, depends on who I see, and I'm going to show you clients where their hair was done way too often, too tight, and they don't have the new growth around it. The lock stands like singular, if that makes sense. All right, when you guys see it, you'll understand the contrast. Okay, so this is one person's locks, and stay tuned for another person's locks so you can guys to see the difference with both heads. All right. Okay guys, so I'm back. So I will be doing quite a few to show you guys this contrast with what when your hair is left alone, when you're not manipulating it. When it comes to locks, you want when your hair is open. You see how I have to actually part her hair with my fingernails to see the scalp. All right, you want when your locks lay back. Lean your head back for me, queen. Thank you. When your locks lay back like this, you guys notice no scalp is showing at all. See how thick? She started with a perfect size for me. I like this size, but choose the size you want. This is not about size. This video is not about size. There'll be a bunch of people in this one video, right, to drive this message home. If your hair is being manipulated too much, for those of you that is still obsessed with techniques and styling and whatever you ask me, so which technique you using, you still don't get it, and I know you got to be new to still be asking me that, right? You still don't get what we're trying to do here. Any type of over manipulation, no matter what your technique is, whether you're palm roll, interlock, twisted, the Bangkok method, whatever you use, if it's done too often and too tight, what happens is that your locks start, one, all your new growth is going to go away. So even if you're going to somebody who is obsessed with neatness, and you find that more in lock professionals where they need to get every strand in place, you're not going to notice it right away. In time, your new growth will start to get less and less, and your locks from the base, because the locks thin from the base, unless you put dye in it, not color, and it thins from the middle because you bleached your hair. But when it comes to alopecia, it's going to thin from the base, right? Because it happens from the scalp. As your locks grow, it's going to grow thinner and thinner. As some of you that's dealing with thin locks, no matter what, or thinning hair, and I don't mean fine as in texture, meaning your hair thinned out because you knew back in the day you did too much, could attest to what I'm saying. Some of you look back in your past and be like, you know what, she might be right, because when I started my lock journey, my hair actually looked like, look at that. It looked like this. These videos, I'm not even showing you all the after. That's not what this video about. You all already know what my work looks like when I'm done. All right? This is about, this is what you're trying to achieve. Look, I literally have to pull this apart. See how it is? This is what you want, no matter your length. Okay? You want, when you pass your hand through your hair, you must dig for that scalp. This is what I like to see clients have. Okay? So, stop being obsessed with neatness. If you find that your hair care professional, your loctician, your sister, whatever, even you, doing it and you feel the need of God, you will die if it's out of place, I am telling you, you're setting yourself up for disaster in the future. It is not something you see right away, right? And you don't see it tomorrow, you won't see it next week, you won't see it next year. But give it time and look back in your past and you'll be like, oh my God, I remember my hair was what went wrong. That is why your hair thinned out from the roots, okay? Stay tuned for more videos. I'm hoping I find a client, which I know I'm going to find one, where I'm going to show you the difference of somebody who hair was over manipulated and their locks are like 2-3 inches apart, okay? So stay tuned. That's some disrespectful hair, sis. Shake it for me. That's inappropriate, very inappropriate. You already knew that when you came here. Okay, so this is another, again, I'm putting all these videos together to prove my point. So this is another sister. In fact, we were just talking about her. She's like the grandmother of the clients. When I say grandmother, it's not her age. She's actually very young. She was one of the clients that was with me when I first started this before Jimmy. And she was telling another client about it. It was just Yanni by herself doing this. And when she came, her locks were right here. It's down her back now. So you guys see, I opened up her locks. There's no, right? And her locks grew very close together, right? You don't see scalp. I have to go dig for the scalp, right? Right? No scalp. This is what your lock should look like when your hair is not done. Because you want, when your hair is done, no matter what technique you use, this is not about technique, your locks looks like this. Your locks looks like this. See how her locks are together? And weird enough, her locks were actually done skinny, okay? But her locks are strong. Not all the clients with skinny locks, I need to combine. If the person's locks are strong, like hers have a strong base, right? I don't have to combine anything. I've never combined her locks, all right? But notice how the locks are not far apart from each other, okay? This is what a healthy head of hair should look like. Before, see? The before, you're not seeing any scalp. You only see the scalp when I join. I mean, when the hair is locked. Okay? So, all right. Let me turn you to the side. She has that very coarse hair that I love. Okay. Is it showing properly in the camera, sweetheart? I hope you guys can hear me because I don't have my mic on. So I really hope you guys can hear me. I can't find the mic. It's somewhere. Okay. But this is what you want. What is causing, I know I didn't say it in the previous videos. I don't know what sequence I'm going to put these videos in. What causes, like I know a lot of you are saying, well, why it is my locks? I don't have this thickness and your texture has nothing to do with it. Okay. In this case, it doesn't. I don't have this thickness. It's like what Yanni said, my locks are far apart. At some way, whether you did it or you went to someone to do it, a lot of people use combs when it comes to doing locks, right? And I always tell people, a comb is the worst thing you could put in your locks. Combs, naturally, a comb is used to detangle hair. That's what a comb and a brush is used for. It's used to detangle hair. So when these locticians or hair professionals, whatever, use the comb, they pull the lock out like this, put the comb, pull down and they twist. In time, all this fuzzy new growth, look at this. You guys seen all the new growth? In time, all this will be snatched out. And your lock is going to stand all by itself because there's no new growth around it. Without new growth that keeps going back into your lock, going back into the lock as it grows, your locks are going to get thinner and thinner, and they're going to go further and further apart. And then when you part your hair like this, before, after, all you're going to see is scalp. All right? So that's what happened. Combs are the worst thing that should be used on locks. That's why I have to grow my nails long, right? You could just put it there, sis, right? That's why I have to grow my nails long, because my nails is actually the comb. That's why I wear these finger condoms. They're called cuts, but you all know Yanni extra, I call them finger condoms. I'll do a whole bit, right? Like Yanni, they call cuts. And they sell on Amazon. If you're doing hair, you get a whole bag of them. For people who was asking, I get them in the bags. I have to use them because I don't use combs at all. I use my finger, and the person's hair could cut my finger, and a haircut is the worst, right? But this is how it's done. Okay, you guys see? No fuzzies are cut off. Her fuzzy stays in her hair, and then it relocks, and as it grows, her locks are still the same size it was since we first met. Many. In fact, we were both single. We go way back like hair grease. We were both single, and now we're both married. We were supposed to go to her wedding last year, but cooties and COVID happened. That's called COVID cooties, right? COVID happened, and she just had to bring the wedding down to 4 people, you know. And I still did her hair for her wedding, she and her husband. All right, that's how far we go back. And just watching how her hair has grown. She's been through it, changed jobs, went through stress. The whole middle of her hair fell out due to stress. I was like, girl, you're stressed. Leave your hair alone. We're going to grow it back, and you'll never know where the area was. That's the kind of work we do here. All right, stay tuned for more of these videos. Your hair look amazing. Let's see. Trying to see how it looks in the video because camera dude over there washing hair. So you can't be my camera dude. So this is also part of this video about if your hair is done too often, too tight, and sometimes not certain texture here is prone for breakage, right? You remember how you guys saw the other clients where when I opened their hair and it's not even done yet, when in the moment I posted this or did the video, that you noticed that you didn't see scalp. Now this is what I'm talking about. See, as I open her hair, what you're seeing here is scalp. What happened was all the new growth in between the locks are snatched out. Now she has the locks. Somebody look at this, they wouldn't know what to look for, right? And she has a beautiful head of hair. I've been doing this young lady's hair before I was even with Jimmy. So she's actually one of the grandmothers, and she's very young. Not grandmothers as in age, grandmothers of my business in Georgia, right? So the second I opened up her hair, like, yeah, somewhere you went and they were snatching you up too tight, you know, because she used to come from Florida. Now she's up here, and I'll be back to doing her hair, right? So this is what I'm saying is, see how this is open, and you guys are just seeing. I don't have to, like the other 2 clients, I don't have to take my fingernails and part it so you guys could see her scalp. As soon as I open it, I'm seeing it. And this is what I have a problem with. I like, as I said before, I should not see scalp. When it comes to locks, and this is still mild. We have other clients. As time goes on, I'm going to put all these videos together. This is actually very, very mild. We have clients where when we open up, when I move their hair, their locks, there's a lock here and the other lock is all over here. There's nothing in between, and nothing fell out. It's just that their hair was done so often and so tight that the person kept pulling the new growth, and the new growth stopped growing. So the locks start to be, how could I put it? They're like an island onto themselves. That's the best way to put it. There's no new growth around the locks, and this happens. And just so you know, her locks hasn't been done yet. She literally just sat in my chair. I told her if she do any dumb shit again, I would be bringing out the butt whooping with a belt, all right? She laughed. She know me long enough. She know Yanni would. I whoop butts too, right? But look, all here. Before I did her hair, she had new growth all down here, because some people, they're obsessed with neatness, so all this was snatched up. And that's what happens, okay? Look at that. Feel this in the back here. See? Yeah, right. And you know you had hair all. Too bad we don't have a video of you from back in the day, because I haven't seen it in like over 2 years. Yeah. It's been a while. So she had to get her hair done. She's a professional, Locs professional, so she had to get it done. She lives very far. Look at that. The new growth in between is so tiny. All right, I'm going to post more of these videos so you guys can see the difference. Look at that. This is not supposed to happen. That's not supposed to happen. All right, stay tuned for more videos on what getting your hair done too often and too tight looks like. In fact, let me bring this a little closer so you guys can see it. You guys seeing it there? Right. No new growth. Seeing it? Yep. Stay tuned for more videos. Okay guys, the last client you guys saw me do showing the damage that has been caused to her hair and her new growth, she actually sent me this picture she found when I did her hair 2 years ago. Now the only areas you'll see in her scalp is the areas where I parted. Above that is the areas where of course it's not parted, so you get to see her beautiful new growth, how it used to be 2 years ago. All right. So this is what happens when your hair is done too often and too tight. Okay,